Today's topic is learning Japanese. This video is for primarily beginners of learning Japanese.
People who want to start learning Japanese.
I think it's anyone who just wants to hang around in Japan.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds really casual, just so you have a better experience, I think it's prerequisite to just know some things.
Point number 1.
Learn the writing systems. So there's
Hiragana,
katakana,
and kanji.
All are very important. I know I've heard a lot of people say things like, oh, I know hiragana and katakana, I don't need to learn kanji. This is completely
NG.
Yeah.
A world without kanji is a sad one.
Because kanji holds a lot of meaning. Well, it holds all the meaning because there are so many homophones in the Japanese language. It actually, once you start learning kanji, when you see like a whole block of text just in hiragana and katakana, it's really hard to read.
It's disturbing.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to read.
You can't tell the beginning and the end of most words because Japanese, unlike English for example, doesn't space out any of the words. So you could have the dog ran all in one go written, so you wouldn't know the beginning or the end.
So take the time to learn hiragana. It does seem daunting at first and it does look a bit alien, but there are so many good resources online. But I think the most important thing is to actually write it down, because there's no good just like being able to recognize it. You have to be able to replicate it, because that's when you start remembering the actual characters.
And also learn the stroke order of hiragana and katakana, because it gives you a good discipline when you learn kanji. And it makes the strokes and like just the shape of the character look so much nicer if you know the stroke order properly.
It starts becoming a lot more familiar, especially when you do kanji, because the radicals, there's a lot of the radicals are the same, so it becomes easy to remember as well. So sit down, take some time out and practice.
It doesn't actually take very long.
I think there's a lot of muscle memory involved.
Yeah.
Because after you've been doing it for a while, your hand kind of gets used to doing it.
You can kind of move across the
stroke.
And also a lot of Japanese people are very impressed if you can write anything.
That's very true. They can't even write kanji.
I think because a lot of people actually type nowadays in Japan, so they've lost some of that skill. So sometimes you can actually write more kanji than they can.
Okay.
I think if you there's a kanji book called Basic Kanji Book, which is a good place to start, because it has it starts from pictograms, I think, and it builds you up that way. I started with that. It's pretty easy.
And now we're using one of the books in class as well,
the
intermediate book, and it's actually really
useful.
It's decent, So that series is really good. We'll put a link down below where you can buy it.
Ooh, katakana. It's annoying.
Learn it.
Because you're most likely gonna have to write your name in it. So learn it.
And also you think because it's replicating an English word, it will be easier to say, but it's actually a lot harder.
Back in when we were doing the history of Japanese, it was kanji and katakana are basically simplified kanji. And then hiragana is a cursive form of katakana, so that's how it breaks down. So it does make sense. It's not just coming out of anywhere.
What's the next point? Kanji.
Don't expect fluency.
That's it. That's very important. Don't expect fluency. We've been here since September. It's now February, and despite being surrounded by Japanese every day, having to speak Japanese every day, both in class, really intensively.
Everyday life.
You pick up on things obviously, and your understanding, my understanding definitely has become a lot better. So I can understand, but it's just, being able to respond in a natural speed is still really hard. So don't expect something, don't expect miracles.
I think we all came from an academic background, so we didn't actually come from a conversational point of view.
A big part of it.
So we were learning we learned, 1,000 kanji in 2 years. We did a lot of translation exercises. We did a lot of formal academic texts and how to construct like an argument in an essay, but we didn't learn.
It doesn't translate from conversational everyday spoken Japanese. So we had a moment where we were like
what the fuck is happening? Like we were kind of, I think it's very easy for that to like get you down, but actually when you look back at like the progress that you've made, like at the start of the year I wouldn't have been able to do like half the things I'm doing now, so I think you just gotta like persevere.
We couldn't even order food at the beginning.
No, we couldn't. It sounds crazy. Like we knew this like.
I think remember when we went out and we found a menu and there were no pictures. We're like, what the fuck? You know we're foreign. We can't read this shit because food names have normally different readings and you don't learn that in university. They don't teach you food names. They teach you meat and fish.
Like we know all this kind of complex vocab about like, you know, dual income families, like, you know, all this kind of stuff.
But we didn't
know how to like order food.
I'll take one katsu kare.
But then you get into the flow of it, and you kind of, you know, you surprise yourself a lot.
I feel like a good thing for if you're just new to the country is don't be afraid to ask someone to recommend something for you.
Osusume.
Yeah, that's like a big word. Osusume. Just point at something. It's like osusume. Because it's a good way to start a conversation. As well. So
don't expect fluency.
No,
basically.
just you know, manage your expectations. Like being able to speak is a thing that comes with time and practice, and just, you know, kind of being able to go back and forth with a partner in a conversation, and it is more difficult than probably you expect, so just don't be too hard on yourself and just, you know, persevere.
And also some things just don't translate into Japanese. Like
I think that was my problem at the start when I was trying to think very literally in English, and like of course we know that that's not how it works, but because you're thinking in English and then you're trying to reproduce it as Japanese, you kind of get stuck in the middle where you can't think around it, and then always afterwards you get that like, why didn't I say like this?
I think it is particularly difficult for English speakers because the grammar is reversed. So where you would say it in, I don't know, the dog went to eat. No, that's not right. I can't think of a proper example.
I played with the ball.
I played with the ball, and in Japanese is the ball I played. Something with or something. With the ball with I played.
I ball
played. It's so unnatural in English. But I mean, when I get really stuck with Japanese, I normally read it backwards because it makes sense in English backwards, and that's what I mean. So for us, most of the time it's you start a sentence and then you have to start again because you started it from the wrong side, and that's the major problem for English speakers. So don't be too discouraged about that. It's an adjustment.
And if you see someone really fluent, you know, you might think like, oh god, why aren't I like that? Why am I not at that level? But you don't know how long they've been studying Japanese. You don't know their background. You don't know sort of, you know, their journey up until that point. So don't look at other people and compare yourself. I know that's really hard, but
plus they might just be really good.
Yeah, they just might be really good.
You have to take into consideration their written Japanese or their reading comprehension, because you can't. But they might have weaknesses in other places.
Yeah, that's important to remember as well. But you know, everyone wants to speak really fluently, but you know, probably even if you don't know a lot of Japanese when you arrive, probably by the end of the year you would have picked up like survival Japanese.
But actually some of that survival Japanese would be found in learning set phrases.
Which brings us to our next point. Learn set phrases.
Yeah.
Because Japanese has a lot of set phrases.
Like even Japanese people don't really know what they mean, they just say it.
Because a lot of it is caught up in being polite. So therefore I feel, to me it's like padding. There's a lot of padding in the language that helps you seem more polite. And I mean, normally when I listen to people saying it, I just pretend I didn't hear it. Like I look, because it can clutter and make you a bit confused. So you just look for the key words, but you will find it in set phrases. So it may look like they're saying so much when you compare it to the translation, but it's mostly just polite padding.
Like I remember in first year we had that like those 2 booklets full of set phrases that we had to memorize, and at the time I was thinking like, why do I have to memorize all of this? But then Choom has an experience where
so in first year we were made to do this role play as part of, was it our exam? It was our speaking exam.
And it was for a job interview.
And it was for a job interview. And I was like, why are we doing this? I'm never going to apply for a job. Actually, no, that's a lie. I'm probably going to apply for a job. But why do I have to like memorize this set phrase? And I used it like in the first, 3 weeks that I was here. Yeah. So memorize those set phrases.
Yeah. And I was there with you, and it just sort of like spilling out of your mouth without even realizing.
You don't think.
No, you
just say it.
Yeah, I just remember Cece looking at me like.
But it's good because it takes off some of the pressure.
Yeah, it does.
Because for me, like my biggest issues is when I'm speaking, I get stuck in whether I'm using the right particles and stuff like that.
I don't think grammar. They don't care as much. They drop a lot of particles.
Yeah. But because you've come from such an academic background, you feel like you have to keep the particles when you don't. But when you have something that you memorized, then you can say it without thinking.
Do your set phrases.
Okay. Yeah. And kind of leading on to that is the world of Keigo.
Yes.
Which
that's the padding.
The padding.
Like when we started learning like Keigo last year, and I remember thinking like, because our teacher said, oh, Japanese people don't even understand it, so I was like, well, why do I have to learn it? But then actually it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like when I first came here last 2014, so 2 years ago, like I've been learning Japanese for a year. I felt pretty like, yeah, I know my shit. Then I went to the konbini and they were talking to me in Keigo, and I was like, what are they saying?
Yoroshi
desho. So I was really kind of like, oh, what is this? But you know, it is actually important to be able to understand and also to produce, especially if you want to work here.
It's not just in a Japanese company. Obviously you have to know if you want to work in a Japanese company. But also just daily life, like when the densha is mighty massing, like the train is coming.
Because it's completely different vocab, so there might be a bit of a kind of, you know, lost in translation. You don't really understand.
Like we went to the bank,
and
they were using a lot of Keigo, and I was just like, I just want to open an account. Can we not do this? Like I don't understand Keigo, but you know, even just for daily life, just it's important just to get that extra set of vocab down.
Like when I have all of my email correspondence with the people that I'm like getting a job with has all been in Keigo, and like I kind of cheated a bit because I googled in Japanese like how to write like a CV but in Japanese, so it came up with a lot of the set phrases, and that shows that even Japanese people struggle with it. So don't be disheartened, but it is important and it does make you seem like that you've got a very good level of Japanese.
I think it's good to be aware of it. I don't actually think most Japanese people expect you to be able to use it. I mean, most Japanese people are happy if you can say like arigatou gozaimasu. They don't really
Kanbeki.
If they don't expect you to be able to use it, but just for you to be able to get around in life, it's good to understand.
But if you want to get a job, like it'll be everywhere. And you know, would I say it's necessary? It probably is necessary.
I think it is,
just to at least understand.
You don't just use it in work though. You're supposed to use it with elders or someone who's superior.
But no one really does that really.
Yeah.
Like even going
maybe it's a change thing over the years.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay.